Hi y'all, I wanted to share my story with you guys on how I got into the magnificent sport of running. To start off, I am not a professional runner. However, I have completed a 5K, 10K, half, and full marathon. This has been years of work and training and increasing that mileage over time. So I just wanted to stop and take a moment to reflect on how far I've come and hopefully inspire anybody, even if it's just a little, from sharing my story out there. The full marathon just happened a few days ago, so I will be sharing a little bit more on that later in the video. But to start the story, when I was a kid, I used to have asthma, so that was a huge factor into why I thought I would never take on running as a sport, that I would never do it unless somebody told me I had to. And it's funny how God takes the things that you think you never do and shows how He sees the potential in you and the possibilities that you don't see in yourself. So the Kickstarter for this was on I decided to apply the verse, "With God, nothing is impossible." And I took on the challenge of running 1 mile and the very first time, just by myself without anybody telling me I had to. And I remember at the time it just seemed so difficult. Had no idea into the world of this world of running and what it was like. Didn't really have runners in my family. They did other sports. So I was new to this and a lot of sweating and seemed really difficult. But lo and behold, I did it. The ultimate distance I thought I would run for my whole life at max. But time has shown differently, and I decided to stop comparing myself with others. That although I still am a slow runner, I would say my strength was seeing that I had endurance. And I would think about the verse, how that says, "Love perseveres," so that would give me a boost. God has definitely been my coach in this process of running. And when I didn't like running in the beginning, I knew I had to combine it with something that I love, which was music. And so I would put my earphones in, and recently, during my full marathon training, I decided to add in podcasts and sermons to just learn some different things during my long runs, and it'd make the experience less monotonous. I'd also think of inspirational stories in my mind of people who were in their 90s and 80s or 70s, 60s, older age people who would attempt and complete marathons, and people who did ultra marathons. And the list goes on the inspirational stories, but I would think of those whenever I felt unmotivated. So to change the page, I will talk about my full marathon experience. It was a fun experience. I was really sore at the end, going across the finish line, and even after walking, feeling just so much pain. But I would walk with every step saying, "Ow, ow, ow." But it was fun. There wasn't a moment during the race where I felt like I was going to give up. Thanks to people cheering as well. They're amazing, different people from the community coming together, giving out water. Thank you, volunteers out there. The race day weather was windy, but perfect weather, I'd say. I had to run against the wind, but it's better than it being hot. There are an unexpected number of hills. They even put one more hill right before the finish line. And I saw people walking backwards, so I decided to try that, and that actually did help relieve pain. So that's something to know if you ever have to run that many hills. And there are moments we would pass by restaurants. We passed by a pizza restaurant, like barely at mile 30 or something, just very early in the race. and I smelled it, and I thought this is just too early in the race to smell it right now. However, the nice thing about running a marathon, and one of the best reasons, is you get to eat anything you want after and not feel guilty at all, no shame at all in that. So if you need a reason for a marathon, a good reason to do a marathon, food is a good reason for us runners. And if you are gonna do a full marathon, there's a lot of training that goes ahead and beforehand. It's not just the 26.2 miles on race day. Definitely you should train weeks of it, a lot of weeks and a lot of hours, build that distance over time. I ran a bit over 400 miles during my training in total. It's recommended that you don't run the full 26.2 miles on a training as one of your training days before race day, because they say you don't want to risk getting injured. So the most that I ran was 20 miles on a training day. So that is my summary of my run experience. Thank you for listening. I hope it gets you out there running, and or it was just a little bit entertaining to hear or motivating. So thanks for watching, and ciao.